In the high-stakes world of the NFL draft, first-round picks arrive with fanfare and expectation. But the true magic of football lies in its unpredictability, when overlooked talents defy all odds to become legends. These are the players who waited through endless rounds, hearing name after name called before theirs. The ones who transformed disappointment into determination. The late-round draft steals who became superstars. The NFL draft is an inexact science. For every can't-miss prospect, there are diamonds buried deep in the later rounds. Players who slipped through the cracks only to rewrite the record books and reshape franchises. Their stories remind us that greatness can emerge from anywhere, even the 6th round, pick 199. Our journey begins with the greatest draft steal in NFL history, Tom Brady. In 2000, 6 quarterbacks were selected ahead of the Michigan product. Brady waited through 198 picks before the New England Patriots finally called his name in the 6th round. What followed was unprecedented: 7 Super Bowl championships, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, and a complete transformation of the quarterback position. Brady's unwavering work ethic and determination propelled him from afterthought to legend. Former Patriots offensive coordinator Charlie Weis once said, "When we drafted Tom, we thought we were getting a solid backup. What we got was the most competitive human being I've ever met. His drive to prove people wrong fueled everything he did." Brady's defining moment came in Super Bowl 36 against the heavily favored St. Louis Rams. With no timeouts and just 1 minute and 21 seconds remaining in a tied game, the second-year quarterback led a masterful drive that culminated in Adam Vinatieri's game-winning field goal. The dynasty was born. 23 years and countless records later, Brady retired as arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, all from pick 199. His legacy isn't just about championships, it's about redefining what's possible for late-round selections. But Brady isn't alone in this exclusive club. Our next draft steal transformed the tight end position forever: Shannon Sharpe. Selected in the 7th round, 192nd overall, of the 1990 draft by the Denver Broncos, Sharpe was originally drafted as a wide receiver before making the career-defining switch to tight end. The move paid extraordinary dividends. Over 14 seasons, 12 with Denver and 2 with Baltimore, Sharpe amassed 815 receptions for 10,060 yards and 62 touchdowns. He captured 3 Super Bowl titles and earned 8 Pro Bowl selections while revolutionizing how tight ends were utilized in NFL offenses. Sharpe's combination of size, speed, and route-running ability made him a matchup nightmare. His defining moment came in the 2000 AFC Championship game with the Ravens. Facing the Oakland Raiders, Sharpe caught a short pass, broke a tackle, and raced 96 yards for a touchdown that silenced the Oakland Coliseum and propelled Baltimore to the Super Bowl. Former Broncos coach Mike Shanahan once remarked, "Shannon wasn't just a tight end. He was a weapon that defenses had no answer for. He could line up anywhere and beat anyone, and to think we found him in the 7th round? That's the beauty of this game." From one Bronco to another, our next draft steal is Terrell Davis. Selected 196th overall in the 6th round of the 1995 draft, Davis wasn't expected to be more than a special teams contributor. Instead, he delivered perhaps the greatest 4-year stretch by any running back in NFL history. From 1995 to 1998, Davis rushed for nearly 6,500 yards and 56 touchdowns. He won 2 Offensive Player of the Year awards and led the Broncos to back-to-back Super Bowl victories. His performance in Super Bowl 32 against the Green Bay Packers was legendary: 157 yards and 3 touchdowns, despite battling a migraine that temporarily affected his vision. Davis's most memorable moment came in that same Super Bowl when, despite his condition, he served as a decoy on a crucial play-action pass that allowed John Elway to score on the helicopter run. It was Davis's presence that made the play possible. Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway said, "Without TD, I'm not sure I ever win a Super Bowl. He was the heart of our offense. People forget how dominant he was because his career was cut short, but for those 4 years, nobody was better." Though injuries ultimately shortened his career, Davis's impact was so profound that he earned induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2017, a rare honor for a player whose prime lasted just 4 seasons. The story of NFL draft steals would be incomplete without Richard Dent, an 8th-round selection, 203rd overall, by the Chicago Bears in 1983. The Tennessee State product arrived with little fanfare, but quickly established himself as one of the most fearsome pass rushers in NFL history. Dent became the cornerstone of the Bears' legendary 46 defense that dominated the NFL in the mid-1880s. His breakout season came in 1984 when he recorded an astounding 17.5 sacks, but his defining moment was Super Bowl 20. Against the New England Patriots, Dent was simply unstoppable. He recorded 1.5 sacks, forced 2 fumbles, and was named Super Bowl MVP as the Bears demolished the Patriots 46-10. It remains one of the most dominant defensive performances in Super Bowl history. Bears defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan famously said, "Richard Dent could rush the passer better than anyone I've ever coached. He had this unique combination of speed and power that quarterbacks just couldn't handle. And we got him in the 8th round. Can you believe that?" Dent finished his career with 137.5 sacks and earned induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011. Not bad for the 203rd pick in the draft. Our next draft steal revolutionized the center position. Jason Kelce, selected by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 6th round, 191st overall, of the 2011 draft, Kelce was considered too small and athletic for traditional NFL offensive line play. Instead, he redefined what centers could do in the modern NFL. Kelce's unprecedented mobility allowed the Eagles to implement complex blocking schemes that few other teams could execute. Over his 13-year career, he earned 5 first-team All-Pro selections and 7 Pro Bowl nods. Kelce's defining moment came during the Eagles' Super Bowl 52 victory parade in 2018. Dressed in full mummer's regalia, a nod to Philadelphia tradition, Kelce delivered an impassioned speech that perfectly captured the city's underdog spirit. "We're a bunch of underdogs, and you know what an underdog is? It's a hungry dog." The speech became instantly legendary in Philadelphia sports lore, cementing Kelce's status as a beloved figure in the city's rich sports history. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni once said, "Jason Kelce isn't just a great center, he's the heartbeat of our team. His intelligence, his leadership, his toughness, they set the standard for everyone else." And the fact that he was a 6th-round pick just shows you can find greatness anywhere in the draft if you look hard enough. Kelce retired after the 2023 season as one of the greatest centers in NFL history and a lock for the Hall of Fame, all from the 191st pick in the draft. From the modern era to the NFL's earlier days, our next draft steal is Bart Starr. Selected 200th overall in the 17th round of the 1956 draft by the Green Bay Packers, Starr's selection barely registered at the time. In fact, he was 1 pick later than Brady's infamous 199, though in a much different era. Under legendary coach Vince Lombardi, Starr developed into one of the greatest winners in NFL history. He led the Packers to 5 NFL championships, including victories in the first 2 Super Bowls, where he was named MVP both times. Starr's defining moment came in the 1967 NFL championship game, the famous Ice Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys. With 16 seconds remaining and trailing 17-14 in minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit weather, Starr called his own number on a quarterback sneak. He scored the winning touchdown, cementing his legacy in one of the most iconic games in NFL history. Lombardi later said of Starr, "Bart Starr stands for what the game of football is all about: courage, stamina, and coordinated efficiency. I never saw a man with more dedication to the game than Bart Starr." Starr finished his career with 5 championships and an incredible postseason record of 9-1. From the 200th pick to the Hall of Fame, his journey exemplifies the potential hidden in the draft's later rounds. Another defensive giant who emerged from the draft's later rounds was Dwight Clark. Selected in the 10th round, 249th overall, of the 1979 draft by the San Francisco 49ers, Clark was initially an afterthought. Clark's defining moment is one of the most iconic plays in NFL history. In the 1981 NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys, with less than a minute remaining and the 49ers trailing 27-21, quarterback Joe Montana rolled right and lofted a high pass toward the back of the end zone. Clark leaped and made the catch, a play that launched the 49ers dynasty and remains one of the most replayed highlights in sports history. 49ers coach Bill Walsh later revealed, "We drafted Dwight because he caught everything in his workout. But none of us, not even Dwight himself, could have predicted the impact he would have on our franchise. Sometimes the best picks are the ones no one notices at the time." Clark went on to become a 2-time Pro Bowler and 2-time Super Bowl champion. Though his career was shorter than others on our list, his impact on NFL history is immeasurable. From one era to another, our next draft steal is Donald Driver. Selected in the 7th round, 213th overall, of the 1999 draft by the Green Bay Packers, Driver came from humble beginnings at Alcorn State. What followed was one of the most remarkable careers in Packers history. Driver retired as the franchise's all-time leader in receptions, 743, and receiving yards, 10,137. He made 3 Pro Bowls and won Super Bowl 45 with the Packers. Driver's most memorable moment came in a 2010 game against the San Francisco 49ers. He caught a short pass, broke 5 tackles, lost his shoe, and still raced for a 61-yard touchdown that showcased his extraordinary determination and athleticism. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers once said, "Donald wasn't just a great receiver, he was the ultimate example of what it means to be a professional. From 7th-round pick to franchise leader in receiving, that doesn't happen without incredible work ethic and character." Driver's journey from 7th-round selection to Packers legend exemplifies how determination can transform opportunity into greatness. Our final draft steal is Richard Sherman. Selected in the 5th round, 154th overall, of the 2011 draft by the Seattle Seahawks, Sherman arrived with a massive chip on his shoulder after converting from wide receiver to cornerback at Stanford. That chip fueled one of the most dominant stretches by any defensive back in NFL history. From 2012 to 2014, Sherman was the cornerstone of Seattle's Legion of Boom defense that terrorized opposing offenses. He earned 3 first-team All-Pro selections and 5 Pro Bowl nods while helping the Seahawks win Super Bowl 48. Sherman's defining moment came in the 2013 NFC Championship game against the San Francisco 49ers. With 30 seconds remaining, he made a spectacular deflection that was intercepted by teammate Malcolm Smith, sealing Seattle's trip to the Super Bowl. His passionate post-game interview with Aaron Andrews became instantly iconic. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said, "Richard has that rare combination of physical ability and football intelligence. He studies the game like a coach, but plays with the passion of someone who was overlooked. That 5th-round selection put a fire in him that never went out." Sherman finished his career with 37 interceptions and a Super Bowl ring, remarkable achievements for the 154th pick in the draft. These 10 players represent the beautiful unpredictability of football. They remind us that greatness doesn't always announce itself with fanfare or arrive with a top 10 selection. Sometimes it emerges quietly from the later rounds of the draft, fueled by the determination to prove everyone wrong. From Tom Brady's 7 championships to Shannon Sharpe's revolutionary impact on the tight end position, from Terrell Davis's historic 4-year run to Jason Kelce's redefinition of the center position, these players transformed their franchises and the NFL itself. Their legacies extend beyond statistics and championships. They represent hope for every player who waits through multiple rounds of the draft. They embody the belief that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. In a league obsessed with measurables and combined performances, these draft steals remind us of football's beautiful uncertainty. They prove that heart, determination, and work ethic can't be quantified, and that sometimes the greatest talents are hiding in plain sight, waiting for their chance to rewrite history. As we watch each new NFL draft unfold, we're reminded that somewhere in those later rounds, the next Brady or Sharpe or Davis might be waiting. And that's what makes this process so magical. The knowledge that greatness can emerge from anywhere, even pick 199,